welcome to 360 Issues, live right here on 7FM 103.9 on Nature. We are here and, we know today, the 29th of May 2023, it's a very, very important day, a day where we get to, have the inauguration of the new president and, of course, have the old president handing over, the power to the next one. Of course, a lot of people have been talking about this day. We've been waiting for this day to come, and finally it is here. So first and foremost, we have to also take a look a little bit about some of, the achievements of this present government, which is about to hand over to the new government. Some of the things that the president has said. Yesterday he came out and, of course, I gave a speech to Nigerians, a farewell speech to Nigerians, where he made mention of a lot of things, and we're going to talk about all of that and more on the show today. I am still the biggest of them all, the big man on Radio Raymond, and of course I've got with me right here in the Asolua Folakemi Yemiton.
And I must say welcome to everyone to the program 360 Issues for today, May 29th, 2023. It's a special day indeed for Nigerians. We are not alone. Today we've got a guest in the building, Mr. Uche Aniebue. He's going to be joining us today, and then we get to talk a little bit about some of the things that this government has actually done, and then what to expect as well from the incoming government of Bola Ahmed.
Good morning, our listeners.
It's been raining all through the morning, so we know that a lot of people are just indoors right about now, just trying to chill, and probably get some hot tea or coffee or something to go with it. So it's a very good time to actually discuss about
the local delicacy.
Thank you very much. Oh my, it has been saving lives for a long time.
600.
Yeah. All right, so today, like I said, we'll talk about some of the things that this government, the Buhari government, has actually achieved. And yes, he made mention of something. He came out to say that he has actually run a good race. He's run a good race, and that he has finished his course. And apart from that as well too, he made mention of something yesterday. He said that he is leaving Nigeria better, than he met it in 2015. These are some of the things that we are going to be discussing this morning. Also, get to hear from Mr. Uche Aniebue. He's going to talk to us as well and explain some things to us. But before that, let's give Dorcas the chance to come in and read through that story. I have run a good race. What is the paper actually saying on that one? I've run a good race. I have finished my course. I am leaving Nigeria better than I met it in 2015. What are your takes or your thoughts on this one?
All right, this is coming through from President Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired. On Thursday in Abuja, said he has run a good race and finished his course as Nigeria's leader for the past 80 years. Therefore, he said it is in order for him to pass the baton of service to another leader who will lead the country for the next 4 years. Buhari said this after he conferred the national honors of the Grand Commander of the Order of Federal Republic and the Grand Commander of the Order of Niger on the President-elect Bola Tinubu and the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima, respectively. The investiture of national honors, which took place at the State House Conference Center of the Presidential Villa Abuja, was part of the lineup of events for the 2023 presidential inauguration ceremony slated for Monday, which is today, May 29th. So he also performed the handover of transition documents and transferred the baton of service to the president-elect. Speaking at the event, Buhari said, "I am confident that Nigeria is in capable hands as we embark on this new chapter. I have run a good race. I have finished my course. It is now time for another person to take up the baton." So Buhari, yes, revived ghost of military dictatorship, disobedience to court orders. Once again, I congratulate President-elect Bola Tinubu and Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima on their well-deserved investiture. So meanwhile, President-elect Tinubu said he understands the honor conferred upon him and his Vice President-elect and the magnitude of the task ahead. I know it's easier said than done. We always say that, and I know the just concluded tenure also said the same thing. Although we have actually get to hear what he has said. He has finished his race as the president of the country, Nigeria. But still yet, we have some other issues that we've actually talked about in the past, talking about the security challenge that we face in the country under his regime. Actually, we've mentioned some things like that in the on the show before, but I believe he has finished his own, and it depends now on the incoming government to have a better plan for this country.
How would you assess or rate the 8 years that our president has actually spent in office? Would you say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate his tenure? Has he been able to achieve most of the promises he made to Nigerians before entering into that position?
Mr. President promised Nigerians a lot in 2015 in terms of security, in terms of reviving our economy, and so a lot. Today, as a Nigerian, let's ask ourselves some pertinent questions. In 2015, do you have a better security then and now? Can you move freely from Onitsha here to Lagos or Abuja through the road, not even by air? Mm-hmm. What's the education index? Just last year, before the elections, we had a strike, which paralyzed our federal institutions and state institutions. So most students were at home doing nothing, and our president was busy flying around the world for his medical treatment. And you now ask yourself, is our health sector better than he met it? These are questions we should ask ourselves and tell ourselves the humble truth. Though there are some areas Mr. President made significant progress, like in terms of agriculture, the rice revolution, we also thank him for the second Niger bridge, which has been in the pipeline for years now. It has come into fusion. Though yesterday I saw an online video made by a journalist in Asaba that the Asaba end of the bridge coming to Onitsha is blocked. I don't know what's up about that now. We also thank him for various infrastructures, the water bridge, the bridge linking the north and the south. Okay, let's look at some places like in agricultural sector. Benue State, being the food basket of the nation, has been witnessing several killings in that state. As Mr. President is Chief Security Officer of the country, the commander of the armed forces, I don't think he did best to secure the lives of Nigerians in Benue State and some parts of Kaduna State in southern Kaduna. It was termed farmer headers clashes, but to me that's an absurdity. That's not the right word. You don't come into somebody's confine and you find trouble with the person, and you turn around to say you are supposed to be settled. A farmer who goes to the farm to do his work expects to have a good harvest, a bumper harvest, but at the end they come back, they see their crops destroyed. Sometimes you see people raped, some women, some people are killed, and these are swept under the carpet. As a Nigerian, I don't feel good tuning into radio stations or TV stations or reading on dailies that 15 killed, 20 killed, 31 burnt. Sometimes we hear people are kidnapped. These are not good for our country, and it's also sent wrong signal to the foreigners outside that here is not conducive for a good economy.
And we remember the controversy that was, surrounding the fact that a law was passed in some southern states of Nigeria, which bans the movement of cattle by herders in the public places as a measure of curbing the persistent clashes between the herders and the farmers as well too. But the decision was met with a lot of criticisms, especially from the northern governors, including the federal government as well, to at that point in time. Do you think that the president and the people around him were able to manage that situation properly?
Some states promulgated the anti-grazing law. Like, for example, in Anambra here, Anambra State House of Assembly, I was privileged to be one of the persons that monitored the processes. In Delta, over our neighboring states, some of the states banned open grazing. In advised camps, you don't see animals moving on the road. Sometimes you want to cross the expressway, you see herders with their cows trying to obstruct traffic. This is not what it's supposed to be. You come, just like a businessman, you go to main market, you rent a shop, you pay, you put in your goods. These are what it's supposed to be. You understand?
Yeah.
So the federal government saw this as an affront, because we had in the past that there are grazing routes which have been overtaken by some persons that they want to get it back. But I don't think that is what we should be talking about in 21st century. As a farmer, you can have a cluster persons or herders who can come buy a land, get the animals there, get what they eat.
Like a ranch or something.
Yes, that's what it's supposed to be. So that anyone who wants to buy, you can come in, buy and go elsewhere and do whatever you want to do with the animals. The southeast here, we saw Ibubago, though there was no significant input of Ibubago in the southeast.
Yeah.
In Anambra, we have the livestock cattle association that tends to resolve conflict between the farmers, the indigenous communities that host these herders. Sometimes you see them in Ayamelum, in Okanot, they come in, they graze freely at persons' land where they cultivated rice. When you come back to look at your farm, you see that it's almost deserted, ravaged by these animals, and you won't feel good as a farmer, because already you are counting your losses. So I see this as a bad omen. I will expect the incoming administration to look into this issue. Farming is a business.
Definitely.
Cattle rearing is a business, and every business has its do's and don'ts. So our governments to do what's right.
The president at some point in time assured that the rice revolution being championed by his administration under the Anchor Borrowers program of the Central Bank of Nigeria will deliver food sufficiency across the country before he leaves office in 2023. Do you think he's been able to achieve that? How much is the price of rice right about now in the market? Can the common man access a bag of rice? Before he got into power, before he got into that position, we know the price of rice in the country. We know what he was going for. Everybody could get it. But right about now, it seems as if even with the rice revolution and everything going on, more production of rice and everything, it seems as if instead of the price to come down, so that it could be accessible to the common man, it's actually gone up. And right about now, it seems like a luxury food. It's something that is only for the rich to actually attain.
I think, while growing up, we see rice as a daily food. Yeah. But now, eating rice now, for most persons, seems like a luxury, like you said. The president made a great impact in the rice revolution, but assessing it to the ordinary Nigerian who have been affected by these policies, can we ask and be proud to say that an average Nigerian can buy a bag of rice at 40-something, 50-something thousand? What's the minimum wage? Before the president took over, we know how much a bag of rice is, foreign rice and local rice. Now, local foreign is everywhere. You can go to Isu and Yocha, you can go to some parts of Okanot, Igbariam, you can get rice. But how many persons can afford that rice now? You go to Mama Put to buy rice. You used to buy 200, 300.
That's the annoying part.
You get 600, 700. And you eat, you will not be satisfied. are we going forward? Are we going back? I think, to my own understanding, there are some policies and there are some things that might have affected this. You know, some of this flooding that took place last year, some part of it's also affected because most of these rice farmers were also affected in this flooding that ravaged almost the entire states in Nigeria, and also this insecurity of not being able to move their produce from the north down to the south, from the south to the north, and also this farmer headers crisis. The government has not been able to secure the lives and properties of Nigeria. So if you are supposed to bring a truck of rice from Onitsha, right? For example, today is Monday, normally start home. You can't move in your goods and services till the next day. You understand?
Yeah.
So most of these things you get to pay demurrage. All these things, insecurity. You'll be checking where you get to meet some bad boys on the road. This is not what it's supposed to be. The government to make the lives and properties of Nigeria to be secured. And secondly, this issue of fuel price that always goes up and down, it also affects the prices of goods in the market.
Okay.
Because if a liter is being sold at 220, some places 250, you see that there will be variety and there will be slight changes in prices of the goods. If, for example, now we have a liter of fuel being sold at 90 naira, 100 naira, highest 120, to such extent, some of these farm produce will come down because the cost of transporting these goods will be reduced.
Definitely.
So once you have the high price of fuel, diesel, all these are sundry products, we have it on the high price. So it affects the farmers, it affects the customers, it affects us who are the end users that normally go to Mama Put or joints to eat rice. So I will also say the government should step up on the security aspect.
President Buhari has done his own and actually is handing over today, even though we have to check all of what he has done. But still yet, we need to look into the inauguration of today. We need to look into the activities that await the president-elect, I must say, and what we actually expect of him as the citizen of Nigeria. And that is what I want us to really talk about this morning. You know, even after the election, we see that even the president-elect have traveled twice outside the country, which is asking a little bit of question concerning his health, but we are not his doctor or anything. We don't know anything about that because the illness was not actually disclosed to Nigerians, and still raising the question of his age, though he has actually some people actually came out to say that even Joe Biden is older than him. But do we think even as at his age and his look and everything, does it have anything to do with what he's going to do or what he's capable of doing for Nigeria?
You know, health issues are personal issues. Nobody, as I'm sitting down here tomorrow, I don't know what might come up. But I feel that as Mr. President, the outgoing president, he ought to have done best for us as a country by putting in the best of health care services across the country. We also saw in the past where they listed out the humongous money funds they used to upgrade the National Hospital and also the State House Clinic. Then you tend to ask yourselves, why is our president always on the move, going outside for medical treatment? Does it mean we don't have the expertise? And this also helps. This also is a challenge for us because it's cross us to the migration of health workers from Nigeria abroad.
Yeah.
You see a medical doctor, they are not being paid well. sometimes they go, at least since 2015 till now, at least the medical associations within the health sector, they have gone on strike not less than 5 or 6 times, if I'm not mistaken. I would like, Mr. President, the incoming president as of today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he comes on board, he should make the National Hospital, the State House Clinic, one of the best hospitals around the world, so that this constant traveling will stop. Because once you are moving outside the country, a lot of funds are moving. Like when the president moves with the aircraft, each day the president moves, you are counting how many days, how many millions that aircraft is packed at that country. So some of these things is not going well for us. You should look at these two health centers, and also look at the federal medical centers and all these, get these equipments, put them in these hospitals. For example, most of our countrymen go to some countries like India for some medical treatment, which ordinarily here it will be done. But because we play like an escalator attitude over the years, we have not been able to leverage on what we have, the resources we have to maintain these places. If we leverage on these points, like upgrading these hospitals, we have the best of the hospitals, the best of medical staffs. They can handle these places. We don't need to be going to India or China or America or Cuba for medical treatments. Here, it will generate money for us through medical tourism. People will come inside Nigeria for medical tourism. So, Mr. President will have more time to attend to the basic problems of Nigeria. Not every month or 2 months he checks out to one country or the other for medical tourism, which ordinarily should benefit us as a country.
The wife of the incoming president came out to say that her family does not need Nigeria's money. That they don't need Nigeria's money, they've been blessed already. And so, yes. Serap, a group, has actually come out as well to tell the incoming president to actually declare his assets so that we know the amount of money that you have. Let us know how rich you are before going into that position. Do you think that's the right step for him to take? And then that would actually help him start on a clean slate.
Before you are sworn in as a president, governor, deputy governor, vice president, members of House of Assembly, House of Representatives, you get to fill a form of your assets declaration to get to know the number of assets you have in Nigeria or outside, where you have businesses that generate money for you. I think this should have been done by now, and that's the correct thing. And under the Freedom of Information law, every Nigerian has access and can apply for such. So I don't see this making much of a news. Being the wife of the incoming president saying they have enough money can never, you can never be satisfied with money.
So you always want more.
Yes. Just the basic thing you are supposed to have she is supposed to tell us is that they are here for service. They will do more for Nigerians. Exactly. We shouldn't be talking about money or not money, because the more you are jetting out of the country, you are using the state resources and taxpayers' money.
I think that is coming through from her, because so many people believe that when you are there, there is no how you are always there to pack money. And that is why, that is why she's actually coming out to let people know that they are not here to take money or to pack money or something like that. And that is what prompted her to say something like that.
Okay, thank you very much. But though that point has been made, but we should have also looked at Mr. President is coming in today. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, when he was governor of Lagos State for 8 years. Did we hear such stories? That should have been another question. Is it changing for good, or is the status quo remaining? Yes, that was the basic question. But we're optimistic that the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu will work.
All right.
Yes.
Which areas do you think that he would need to tackle immediately if he is to get Nigerians on his side? Which areas do you think he needs to tackle immediately?
I've been one person that I've been saying over the years, Nigerians have been polarized along ethnic, religious, and other dimensions.
Okay.
I think the president must come out first, in making his first broadcast, must assure Nigerians that he's going to be the president of all Nigerians, irrespective of where the votes came from or those who didn't vote for him. Because unlike we saw in the past administration of President Buhari, he was talking about 97% and 5%.
But he still came out to say, I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
Okay, we also saw about Dot of a Nation, and some policies of this outgoing administration clearly excluded the people of Southeast. The National Railway project, Southeast was excluded. Yet the Senate over time approved Mr. President to borrow money from some countries, which should be for the benefit of the entire country and the people within it. But you see, sometimes people of Southeast are excluded, where I come from. This is not palatable. I would like the president to carry every section of the country along. He should not focus on the past, what happened in the elections. And also, I would like to appeal to Mr. President going forward to know how to appease some section of the country where some people are aggrieved because they felt marginalized, like people of Southern Kaduna, where we have been having constant killing of the indigenous and overtaking of their farmlands and their whole lands by some, in quotes, ethnic jingoists. And also in the Southeast here, we have been clamoring for the release of our own dear brother who has been in detention for a very long while. The new president, he should shun mediocrity, favoritism. He should go for the best hands. Every part of the country, we have men and women who can lead, who can be appointed as ministers. Don't use it as an avenue to compensate party men who worked for you. Thank you very much.